The Saginaw Spirit are proud to select Aiden Young from the London Junior Knights.
He's a player that jumped out to us really early on in the season. You know, you go watch that London team play, and players like Rourke and Weir, and they had played up the year before, so you kind of knew what to expect with players like them. But when you went and watched that team play, Aiden jumped out right away. This kind of fits really what we're looking for in players: the puck possession game, the tenacity. And as you work in the league for a while here and you go on, it is a hard quality to find. Ultra competitive, ultra driven, but I think his IQ to be able to keep up and learn the game at a quick pace. It's a tough jump for any young minor hockey player to jump into the OHL. No different than our players jumping up into pro. But I think the faster you can think game and your IQ and you pick up, the ability to learn little things quickly will help that transition happen a lot faster. And I think Aiden's got that in him.
Saginaw Spirit are proud to select Jacob Klee from the Pittsburgh Penguins Elite.
Jacob's a player that we watched a lot throughout the year. I know our assistant GM Brian Prout and head scout Craig Hamble, great job. Seeing him play early in the year down at the showcase down in Pittsburgh, and kind of followed up with him and had a chance to meet him throughout the year. But as a player, he's electric. He's fun. He's ultra competitive. You talk about guys that want to hunt down pucks and track and never give up on a shift and keep their feet moving. We had a lot of that success with players a few years ago, Damien Drew and DJ Budek, and those guys were leaders and wore letters. And look at the way Jacob plays, and he's very much a mold of them, as well as Aiden, who in the first round, they had the same kind of qualities. And we were very fortunate to get Jacob where we did in the draft. When you look at the draft play out, you don't know how it's going to work, but he's a player that we had a lot higher, and pretty exciting moment when he's still there on the board, and it didn't take me long to put his name in the computer.
Saginaw Spirit are proud to select Carson Harmer from the Huron-Perth Lakers.
I think his work ethic and skating ability can play in the OHL, in your lineup now, and his feet are moving when he hits the ice, and they don't quit moving until he leaves the ice. And I think, again, that's a lost art. He's not going to float. He's not going to take shifts off. He's going to be hard to play against. He's always going to be tracking beyond you as a visiting player. And I think coaches look for that, and we look for that because, that's what you want in a player, especially a young one. And then as he gets older and more mature and body develops and we develop his skill set, he still has that, that mentality of the work ethic mentality from the way he was raised, and the only way he knows how to play the game. And ultimately, you become a real good player in our league and outwork and outcompete other teams and mix him at the high-end skill level that he has. So really looking forward to him playing here in Saginaw. Yeah, both star players on that Little Caesars team, players we got to watch a ton being here in Michigan and watching them. They were in every big tournament. They were in the finals almost of every big tournament. But you draft their top centerman and their top D, and they're both U.S. program kids, and we knew that. And going in, and Charlie's the right shot D man who can skate, make plays, big guy, unbelievable person from a great family, and Will, big kid. As his frame develops, he put up huge numbers this year. Obviously, the bloodlines with his dad playing in the NHL and the athletic family goes a long way as well. So very excited about those two prospects and the potential of them coming to the OHL in Saginaw one day. Very excited about the upcoming year and having these guys come into their first training camp. And training camp, development camp's one thing, but training camp's when all the other players come back, and you're bringing all of a sudden the Misas, Sapovalov, Hunter Haight, these guys back to main camp. It does ranch up a level, and the practices are harder, they're faster, and we'll see who can kind of keep up and who do we think is ready to play at that level. You never want to rush a player into the OHL. You wreck their confidence. They struggle to find their footing, and you don't want them to become somebody that they're not as a player, just trying to survive. You want them to hit the ground running and definitely take advantage of their skill set and why we drafted them. And I think putting them in positions to be successful is very important, whether it's right now at 16 or maybe they're making the league as a 17-year-old, which is very normal in our league and most junior leagues. So we have a lot of returning players, but like we told all our returning players, just because you're eligible to return doesn't mean that other younger players can't take your spot. And that's the reality of hockey. So you want to keep the guys hungry. I'm a big believer that internal competition creates really good habits and makes it very tough. And I think we're going to have a lot of internal competition throughout our lineup this year, and it starts in training camp with these guys that we just talked about for the last 25 minutes really pushing the returning guys back and making sure they're ready to go. And the harder they push them, which I know they will because of the work ethic and drive we spoke about through all these guys throughout the draft class, the harder they push them to steal their spots, the harder our players will have to work to keep their spot. And then the harder other players will have to work to keep higher spots in the lineup, and it goes from there. And that'll eventually translate into the regular season game one, because we know at the end of the day, we're lucky enough to be hosting the Memorial Cup, and we're going to be playing in it. And we need to make sure we're ready at the end of the day to not just be hosting that tournament, be in it, be competitive, and win our way into it. And that's what we're going to try to do here in Saginaw.